The new urban agenda is a global document. It's a global agenda that is running across the world over. 193 member states where UN Habitat is practicing, and of course it's not a UN Habitat agenda per se. The new urban agenda is a global agenda cutting across the various UN agencies. So the various agencies align themselves to specific areas that are areas of focus and the areas of deliverables. And as all the previous speakers who have spoken before me have echoed, we are focusing on the SDG number 11. In the Kenyan context, we have the Vision 2030, that all the actors, the government of course taking the lead, and all the other actors, the international organizations that I work with, the private sector, the local NGOs and the CBOs work towards the achievements of the Vision 2030. Then the new urban agenda, which is a global document cutting across the globe. And now we narrow it down to the Kenyan context. Where do we come in? If you look at the new urban agenda, and I'm very glad our government has led from the front, has already come up with what they call the popular version, basically fitting in the interest of Kenyans and what we want to be addressed. And that is what the director, Madam Jane, has spoken about, how I wished you could look into it. It's easier to read, it's easier to understand, as opposed to the new urban agenda document that is, but should you need the entire document, please, you can get hold of me after this, or I can liaise with Kara as well to give them some documentation as well, so that you can have the original version of the new urban agenda. The question my professor was invited to come and address, and what are the opportunities for the implementation of the new urban agenda? What are the opportunities for us? So this is what we are doing in the implementation of the new urban agenda, and this is where we are saying now, Kara now comes in, and of course, as the United Nations agency, we, for instance, UN Habitat, we are in 193 countries, and the number of staff we have world over, more or less the same as the population I can see in this room, and therefore we cannot be effective in doing everything everywhere. So we work with the country, with the national governments in those particular countries. We work with the local authorities. In Kenya, we call them the county government and municipalities to deliver on our agenda. And therefore, in Kenyan context, what are we doing? And as the Madam Director has alluded to, and she knew I'll be delving on this, is that we've come up with what we call the Habitat County Document. So the Habitat County Document is basically what will guide our specific actions in the year 2018-2020. And we've been working very closely with the government. So the areas we are tackling in this particular document, because it is going to guide us in our implementation of the new urban agenda and on our programs and activities, and we only pray and wish that all partners are on board. Of course, the government is taking the lead from the front. UN Habitat as co-chair of this particular document, and all other partners are on board. To see, this document will stipulate exactly and in a very achievable and measurable ways on what are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 activities that we're going to identify ourselves with from 2018 to 2020. So that is a 3-year document. We can be pegged onto that, and we can be marked on that, and all the actors, including Kara and all the private sectors and all the other actors, if we can identify ourselves with this particular document, then we can, in the long run, find a document where we can gauge our deliverables, our achievements, and our indicators on some point of reference. We can look back and say, what have we been doing? Are we heading anywhere? What are some of the few things that we're able to do? So the Habitat County Project document, program document, has 6 areas that we are calling at the Strategic Action Direction. The Strategic Action Directions, we call them SADS in short form. One is the improvement of land management and sustainable planned human settlement. The issues of land management is chaotic, to say the least. And I don't know where it came from. Where I come from, your wealth is measured by the amount of land you have. Not how much you put it productive, no. How many acres have you? I don't know. I don't know whether it's true, I don't know. Because you have it and you are idling here in Nairobi, and it is left there doing very little. So in terms of land management, and what can we be able to do with our land processes? So we have with specific indicators on how we are going to do the improved land management, working with the county government, working with the national government, that we can ensure that at least our land management is such a way that the ownership of land encourages productivity of the land. The ownership of land is digitalized, so that these issues of land grabbing and people going to public spaces and all these things can be minimized. You can take us to account on that. So we have a whole chain of information we have pertaining to the land management. Then we improved basic services and infrastructure. The chairman was alluding to that he took 2 hours to come to here. That is true. If you come from, instead those who are coming from Mombasa Road, Ngong Road where I live, this side, coming to the city center is nightmare. So one of the few things that we're going to focus on is the basic services and infrastructure. Basic services, we are talking about drainage, we are talking of water, we are talking of sanitation, we are talking of things that make our lives, the drainage systems and walkways in our ways. And this, we are taking ourselves to be pegged on this, on specific actions, what we're going to do to try in terms of basic services and infrastructure that can make our cities livable and conducive for all of us. Number 3, under the SADS, is the improved access to quality and affordable housing and sustainable slum upgrading and prevention of slums. Housing has become increasingly expensive in our towns. Together with our partners and the government taking the lead, we want to make slum upgrading and affordable housing. Madam Director has already alluded in the next 5 years, we have a plan to construct a number of housing so that at least all of us, and we will be very glad to work with the government to ensure that this is achieved. We've been working with the government on the slum upgrading process, and I don't know whether this will be quoted out of context, where we basically develop slums and people can own these particular houses at a reduced prices. Where I work and where I stand from, I think that is not working, because you realize that these people, once they get these houses, again, they sublet or sell or something because of that. If you ask me, Linus, what do we do to probably mitigate this? Let's have rental housing but subsidized rate. This issue of ownership, everybody wants to own, is what is making a problem. Because you own it today, the following day it's rented, is again starting another slum elsewhere. But if the rent are reduced and it is, you don't own it, you instead of paying, how much is an average 2-bedroom in Nairobi today? 25,000? Yeah. If you can do that at 5,000, yes, okay. It's reduced so that everybody knows that this houses belongs to the government or wherever it is, or the Kenya Railways as they do it, and the rents are as opposed to owning. This aspect of owning is this why somebody wants to sell it again or do something like that so that he continues squatting elsewhere. I don't know whether he has a mistake. I don't think so, because he wants ends to meet. Life has also become a little bit expensive. So SAD number 3, under the Habitat Program document, is improved access to quality and affordable housing, at least to all of us. Number 5, we are talking of innovation and improving economy and finance. Innovation in improving urban economy and finance. Urban economy is basically the municipal finance. How do our cities, our county governments, how do they generate revenues? How do our county governments generate revenues? And how do they use that revenue to try and address some of the challenges that are facing us in the cities and in towns? Ideally, ordinarily, the provision of basic services is the work of the devolved units in this country, and even elsewhere is the municipalities. So when we can give them innovation on how to can improve their urban finance, what we call the taxes, because we realized, like we did a good project in Kiambu, where the county government was so focused on border riders and mama mbogas. Those who don't understand mama mboga are this lovely mommy who sell for us vegetables. Those are the people that they harass every day to get them. So we told them that there's a vast opportunity in land in Kiambu. There are vast opportunities where you can also get massive resources to try. And trust me, Kiambu government, under the former leadership, tripled almost their county revenue base from about 1.8 billion to close to 7 billion. That means that they can stand on their own, with or without the national government. And that is where we are heading to. So we can work with the county government to raise their revenue base so that with the enhanced revenue, they can be able to adequately address the challenges that the common mwananchi want them to address. The document also talks on improved urban governance and resilience, the issues of governance, the issues of leadership. You know how it has affected us in the delivery of services and whatever we do. So we shall make frantic efforts, 2018, 2020, together with our partners, to improve the urban governance and resilience in our municipalities and in the Kenyan context in our county governments. Then we should also have talked about the improved capacity development and sensitization. Capacity development is for the people, is for us, the beneficiaries. If we are told that we need not to throw trash wherever we are throwing, then it is just fair enough that we do it. If you are told that please go and seek services, you must not bribe to get services. It is possible. It is possible. Of course, I know all these areas you go for them for services. You find some people in a better suit than mine. They want to help you. And you left your place where you know very well where you're going to get assistance. Somebody meets you in the corridors, and within 2 minutes, he has convinced you now he's the one taking the lead. The idea is he wants to take some few extra coins from you to facilitate. That bit, we shall also work together with our partners. And I think Kara might be very instrumental in this, in terms of capacity development of our people. So the people know what they want, they know how to go about it, and the people know the specific and concrete steps to take to find this, what is, as a citizen, a responsible citizen, what is expected of you, what is expected of you, and stand by it. When we do it like that, and we have few people who can say that, no, this is the right thing to do, and we are going to do it, and especially people of my age, then it is doable. If we have only 10 people who can say that, no, this is the right thing to do, and we choose to do that right thing, trust me, the masses will join us bit by bit, but some people have to start it. The moderator here was saying, secrets to success are just secrets unless somebody stands out and do them. And therefore, that nobody else is those of us who are in this room. Ladies and gentlemen, United Nations Habitat, his headquarters here in Nairobi, Gigiri, is the only headquarters in the world. The UN has 4 major headquarters. We are privileged to host UN Habitat in Nairobi here, and the United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP, are the only headquarters in Nairobi here. We have to take advantage. We have to take advantage of hosting global headquarters in our country. What I've delivered to discuss with you are the specific areas of action that United Nations Habitat, together with our partners, led by the national government, is planning to take from 2018 to 2020 for 3 years, so that based on that, we can be able to look back and reflect, where are we going to, are we at the right place, so that we can be able to be advised. Thank you very much, Kara, for inviting us to this forum. We feel appreciated and honored to be invited here, and we appreciate you so very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Big round of applause to Mr. Linus. Thank you so much. Asante sana. So should we rent or own houses? If it's possible, probably we can consider that. But anyways, thank you so much. And even as he was speaking, I can't help but appreciate our forefathers for teaching us this song so that every generation can sing. Nchi yetu ya Kenya tunayoipenda, tuwe tayari kuilinda. And protecting our country is not just about, of course, terrorism, very important, but it's also about taking care of our country. Taking care of our country. We've been talking about the Sustainable Development Goals, and this session is focusing on that goal number 11.